In my address at the summit, I clearly emphasized that the Global South is gaining strength and is rightfully making its voice heard. I am convinced that African problems require African solutions, not Western wisdom. The Global South is calling for non-interference in its internal affairs. It calls for multilateralism, for a more effective functioning of the UN, and rejects the policy of domination by one or two countries over the entire world. Greetings from Angola once again. Even though the informal European Union summit on the American peace plan for Ukraine had a significant impact on the course of the EU-Africa summit, Slovakia must pay attention to its relations with African countries, not only because our sovereign Slovak foreign policy, oriented toward all four corners of the world, demands it, but especially because we should build upon the era of relations that former Czechoslovakia had with the African continent. It was Czechoslovakia that helped many African countries in their national liberation struggles and in breaking free from colonialism. We also built schools and hospitals here, sent many experts, and enabled African students to study at our schools. When I got off the plane yesterday in Luanda, the capital of Angola, I was welcomed by an official representative of Angola who spoke fluent Slovak because he had studied law in our country in the past. So that we don't just remain with words, we are opening 3 new embassies in Africa, in Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Algeria. We have agreed with the Republic of South Africa to abolish visas for Slovak citizens, which can further support business and tourism opportunities. And today I also signed an agreement with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Central African Republic to establish diplomatic relations. I assume that our intellectual elites sitting in Bratislava cafes won't miss the chance to suitably disparage these diplomatic efforts of the Slovak government. They don't even like Slovak women and men, since they consider 2/3 of them to be stupid people. So why should they show respect to Africans? During today's summit, I had several bilateral meetings, the most significant of which was with the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. These meetings confirmed that African leaders possess a high level of knowledge about European affairs and have confident stances on many events. In my address at the summit, I clearly emphasized that the Global South is gaining strength and is rightfully making its voice heard. I am convinced that African problems require African solutions, not Western wisdom. The Global South is calling for non-interference in its internal affairs. It calls for multilateralism, for a more effective functioning of the UN, and rejects the policy of domination by one or two countries over the entire world. In this, we find common ground and call for a significant reform of the UN, for example, to expand the membership of the UN Security Council to include countries from the Global South, especially the strongest African nations. This is how we intend to act even if Slovakia secures a seat as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council for the years 2028 to 2029, which it is currently seeking. Even today, I concluded several agreements on mutual support for candidacies for this seat on the Security Council. We are currently working on my official visit to the Republic of South Africa. Once again, I want to emphasize that I only travel abroad when the trips are well prepared and deliver results. After the abolition of the visa requirement for the Republic of South Africa, the presence of a strong Slovak community in this country, and the absence of any outstanding political issues between Slovakia and South Africa, this developed country is particularly interesting for us. I was in the Republic of South Africa in 1994 as an international election observer, and I witnessed the remarkable events marking the end of apartheid and the rise of Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress.